No one knew. 2 days before, I was literally almost out of this house, almost out of the world. I was that depressed. I walked out of that room, and off of wanting to save myself, I was like, no, bitch, you gotta save yourself. You've been through some shit, yes, but you survived a lot. Now it's time to thrive. Like, if I get out of this room, I'm going to win. I'm going to, after everything I want, I'm not second guessing myself no more. I'm fighting for my life.
You grew up in New York, you was a Balenciaga, you was the mother, but now let's talk more, right? Let's talk more recent times. You moved from New York, the Mecca, and you are the girl. You're the girl everywhere, but you in New York City, home is nothing like home.
Yeah.
But you left New York City to move to Atlanta. Why?
Because it was a pandemic. That was one, and my rent, where I was paying, was almost $3,000. I was thinking in survival mode. I was thinking like a survivor, like, okay, before, I don't like to fuck up, after the fact. So I'm like, let me hurry up and fix this. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going on with this pandemic. I don't know what they about to do, but Atlanta's moving and shaking. Let me go to Atlanta.
And they open.
Right. And
Atlanta was open at the time.
So that's where I went. That's where I went. I had went to the A, and I had just rested up in there. I took a little, and Atlanta did this big one. Like, shout out to the A. Like, it definitely, it put me on the road to healing. I would say that.
Okay.
It put me on the road to my healing journey.
What was Atlanta like for you? Because you said it's on your road to healing. So it's a pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
You moved to Atlanta. It's new. I moved here from Detroit. People don't understand, when you move from your hometown, it brings out something different with you.
Yeah.
What did it bring out in you?
The thing about Atlanta is, when there's nothing going on, there's nothing going on. And even then, you won't even know it's going on. And me coming from New York City, you know what it's like. You hear the cars coming by. You can hear conversations. It's like an amusement park.
It's a beat. It's a life. It's a life to New York.
Going on outside, literally right outside your window.
Mm-hmm.
But in Atlanta, it's totally opposite. It's nothing going on. It's like, even if it's something going on, you won't know because it's far away.
Everything's so spread out.
So spread out. Like, even going to the store, you gotta drive, or you gotta call an Uber.
Hate that.
So I started to, I was going out. I was, going out, having a good time. But I was kind of like, something in me, I started to really decline. Like, I started to like turn into like a shell, I would say. And I started to like, something was going on, and I didn't know what it was. Like, I loved how I looked. Like, my transition was doing what it needed to do, but my mental transition, I left her for dead, basically. I left who I was for dead because it was just like, I was just worried about how I looked. I was worried about every ball. I was worried about being here, being seen, but mentally, emotionally, financially, I wasn't doing what I needed to do. Yes, I was, I was being able to pay for my own stuff, being able to pay my bills on time. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm the type of person that I want nothing but the best. And what I mean by that is, I want to live how I want to live. Like, I want to live in a nice house. I want to drive a nice car. I want to be able to wear nice things how I like it. And knowing that I wanted these things, I was nowhere near that. I was nowhere buying my house where I can put my mom in. I was nowhere near of those goals that I had as a child. And I started to realize that I was nowhere near these things that I wanted for myself. So I started to get really depressed. But you know how Leos are. We don't like to express that to people.
We're not gonna tell nobody. We're dealing with that alone.
So I would be going to balls. You would never know. It was this ball in Miami. I wore like this pink dress, a blonde bob. No one knew. 2 days before, I was literally almost out of this house, almost out of the world. I was that depressed. Like, because I felt like, but I walked out of that room, and off of wanting to save myself, I was like, no, bitch, you gotta save yourself. You've been through some shit, yes, but you survived a lot. Now it's time to thrive. Like, if I get out of this room, I'm going to win. I'm going to, after everything I want, I'm not second guessing myself no more. I'm fighting for my life now.
We often, and we talked about this during our lunch, we have spent so much time surviving, trying to figure it out, trying to pull it together, what am I going to do next? And I have to do this alone. It's the fear.
That fear is sitting on us. Like, our fear becomes a lot of times our fear becomes basically the owner of our body and our mind. When you have to control your fear. Fear is a part of you, you know, but you have to control that fear. And that's when I started to realize that all this fear, even still to this day, like every time I feel like I can't do something, I tell myself, yes, I can, because that's just fear talking to you, and you have to control the fear. Like, I'm your mother, you bitch, you not mine.
And so that's what, can I tell you something? We talked about this, but the mind is a machine that defends us. It always is trying to protect us. And so a lot of times what fear looks like, fear is, I'm scared, am I going to, let's just say, for instance, like, am I going to make the rent? Am I going to survive? When I go to this new city, am I going to make it? But you feel that same feeling when you do something that you love to do. Yeah. That same feeling comes before we walk a ball, before we get on a roller coaster. So I think it's important for us to learn how to navigate that. That control. Because, bitch, you are in control of you. And when you understand that power, you move better. And I want people to
way better. And you know what's funny? The book I am going to give you is called You Are Badass.
I want the book.
So I read this book called The Badass, which saved the fuck out of my life. But it explains in the book about, as a child don't really have fear. Fear is built off of everyone else's dream, like, of their life. Like your mom or your father, you know, you growing up as a child, it's kind of like they are literally implanting everything in your mind of what's going on in their life. Like, so you become fearful of things that you never even been through. Like, as a child, you know, if you fall, you go get back up and do it again. But if you fall at a ball, you might walk off the stage like, bitch, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not doing
this. They gonna do me because of what they gonna say, what they projecting.
Like, oh my God, I just fucked up. Oh, you didn't get back up and dust yourself off and do it again, or you lose the situation. You don't realize, you know, like, nothing is perfect. It's your journey. No one can tell you anything. It's your focus. Focus on that. That's it.
And remember, get back to. Thank you, Asia. I want y'all to take that with y'all. That's very pivotal to me. And that's something that I really wanted to highlight in this interview, picking it up, because you mentioned that you were in this room and you literally had to pick yourself up, because it's not about, you can talk about your problems to people and receive advice. You can read all the books, but truly it is you having a conversation with yourself. Like, bitch,
that's a real conversation, because like, you have to now face everything that you've been through, and you have to face it on head on. You have to literally say, oh no, you're not coming with me no more. That baggage.
Asia, can we talk?
I'm gonna drop you off at the door.
Asia, so listen, the song.
I'm gonna drop you off at the door.
I'm gonna have to leave you here. The song "Bag Lady" by Erykah Badu. A lot of people, it goes over their head, but what she's talking about in that song is, bitch, herself and the things that she carries. You gonna miss your bus carrying around all them bags. I gotta let you go. Yeah. This guy. Oh no, you can't come. Sorry.
Yeah, I gotta figure. It's like you have to. Like, I forgave my mother a very long time ago, but I was still carrying the pain. Like, you know, like some friends of mine, I was like, even close friends, specifically one of my closest friends that I had growing up in the community. She did some stuff to me that I was like, you know, hurt by, and I said I forgave her, but I didn't, because every time I will always be looking for her to do something else.
Yep.
Because it was the fear. It was this fear, and I had to really realize that in order to forgive someone, you truly have to just let it go. And if you can't forgive no one, or you can't forgive them yet, learn to forgive them, heal from that, and then come back into their lives, because they may do something else again. You can't be upset about something that happened 10 years ago that you said you forgave, and because they did something new, you want to mash them together.
Because you had to do this. Now that's all of you. It's a lot. I don't want. No, ma'am. You be patient with yourself and have some grace when you forgiving people. Don't do it because we do a lot of shit because we said it's the right thing. Oh, I forgave you, but you have not forgave her.
No, you didn't.
I'm very light with who I forgive. You still looking like, bitch, you said what? Because I heard what you, because, yeah.
You're looking for something because they did something to you, and you holding on to that bag. It's just kind of like you adding another book inside your bag that's already heavy from the shit that you've been through. So it's now, for me, I was like, that day in Miami, I literally cried. Like, when I say I was literally like, I wouldn't say I was going to commit suicide, but I was close to it. Meaning that it was like, I loved how I look visually, but mentally I was so insecure and I was broken because everything around me wasn't like where I wanted to be in life. And people don't understand that. They were like, Asia, you know, you're so nice. You look so nice. You're so this. But that's not what it's about for me. Bitch, I know I look good. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with where I actually want to be in life, and accepting the fact that I'm trans. Like, I had to accept the fact that I'm not a cisgender woman. woman. That right there alone, mentally, you have to acknowledge the fact that, look, hey, I'm a trans woman and I have to accept this. I had a really bad dysphoria with just being fucking trans. So, and that's just one piece of the fucking puzzle. I've been through some shit. I went through a lot of shit where it was holding on to me. I thought I was kind of like forgiving it, but I wasn't. I was holding on to it, and it was like my baggage was getting heavy. It was like, bitch, damn.
I'm just hard to walk. I can't even really go.
I didn't even realize it was this heavy. I didn't realize what was going on. But once I went into Atlanta, I couldn't say that God literally pushed me by myself. I stopped answering people. People will be calling me. I'm looking at the phone ringing. I wouldn't answer because I was so fucking depressed. I was so going through so much mentally. Because a lot of times people they keep saying it's like, oh, Asia, like, how can you be like this? You look so good. It has nothing to do with someone's look. Some of the most insecure, some of the most beautiful people are fucking insecure. Absolutely. Are fucking depressed, going through so much because you assume so much about this individual. And that day in Miami, it was Jack's birthday ball that week. I was coming in at the judge's ball and, be with the House of West. And I was really just like, I was gagging, and I walked into the ball 2 days later, and you would have never known. So you would have never known.
Would you say that Atlanta was like a reflective experience for you to really see who you are, but then also see, okay, this is who I am. I'm not feeling this, and I want to go in a different direction. Was that for you? Was that what Atlanta was like for you?
It was like it showed me literally every card was on the table. Every fucking card. Even people. I looked at the people I was even hanging around. That I was just like. One thing I started to realize, and I started to read that book that I'm gonna give you, You Are Badass, and it was telling me like you got to be intentional with even just your friends. You got to be intentional with the people that you surround yourself with. And I started to look around, and I was noticing that I was being around people that didn't even genuinely like the person that I am. They wanted to change me, and I was realizing that, like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Because that's not me, baby. But I didn't know that. I was trying to change because I wanted to be accepted by these people. I wanted to be accepted by everyone because I felt like I wanted love from these people that could never give me that. And that was okay. I was supposed to be giving it to myself. And I didn't realize that there's always going to be someone knocking at your door offering you love but not giving it to you, or for something that like, hey, I'm going to give you love if you do what I say. Now, when this person don't give you love, what do you do to yourself? You break yourself down every second. You tell yourself how bad you are because they not loving you. What's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Or you got to type that, bitch, I'm about to beat this nigga house down because he not giving me the love.
Yeah, bitch, I'm going to tear it up. That's not going to give you no love.
Nothing. That's not going to change. Love is not going to come.
Now you got a case on your hands.
You got a case on your hands.
Bitch, yeah.
Now you sad. You are bruised up on yourself because you were upset that this person you assume all so much. It has nothing to do with that. And I had to realize that too. Like, I was dating guys that were not good for me, that were mentally not good for me, and I was trying to change them. Like, okay, I can fix him up.
No, you cannot.
He look good, but I'm gonna fix him up.
You not.
I'm gonna put him in. I'm gonna get his mind right. I'm gonna tell him how amazing he is to heal him.
Nope.
You can't heal him. He gotta heal himself.
And that's why I'm very, very proud of you for the work that you've done on yourself and the work that you'll continue to do on yourself.
Yeah, it's continuing.
That is because it's an ongoing journey. My girl said, it's not over till you stop finishing. What she said?
Until you stop breathing.
It's till you stop breathing. It's not over. And so you came back to New York. Yeah. Now I know y'all want to get into the thing, but I want to ask you for myself, because me moving back home is just right now, it's not an option because I came here for the betterment of me, the involvement of me. Yeah. And those are my intentions. But you moving back to New York, was there any type of like, oh my God, what they gonna say? Did I fail? What was that like, you coming back?
No, moving out of New York, you would say you're failing. Because New York because to me, for a person like me, what I want, New York has everything to offer for that. So I moved away because I was fearful of the life that I feel like I couldn't hold up to that life. Wow, walking outside, you have they're literally judging. Like, New Yorkers judge you just for walking outside. If you got a bonnet on, they looking at you like, what
because bitch, you outside, like,
what's going on with your hair, like, what's going on? So it is like that. Or even it's kind of like, you gotta get dressed up when you not just dressed up, like you gotta be done up, but you just
pull yourself together. get that.
Brush your teeth, wash your face. You can't hide. Yeah.
It's New York.
Yeah, we got a network. Every day's a network. How you doing, boo?
Hey, boo.
I remember you. Yes.
I met you at the
Oh my
thing.
God, you're so cool. I would love to shoot you. I would love to put you here. Everything is a network. Remember that. Everything is a network. Everything is a network. You're always meeting someone that can really take you to the next phase. Like, so it's always to just be at your best. And that's one reason why I was like, you know, I'm ready to be back in New York, because I knew what I wanted to do with my life. I knew where I wanted to go. And I was like, I want to be here. I want to network. It's so many people here that I know in these places already. And Atlanta, I loved it for where I was at, but I don't want to be there from where I'm trying to go.
I love that. So it was an experience, if you will.
Yeah, it was Atlanta's amazing for what it is, you know, but where I want to be in life is certain things that I want for myself, and I want to be in this place. So coming back here is like, I actually got opposite. It was so many people that were so happy that I was back. Like, they were just like, you know, even when I left, a couple of my friends was like, how can you desert us? How can you leave us like this? It was a lot of
very selfish of them.
It was, but you know, I didn't really care. It was just kind of like I was hearing it. But when I came back, I actually got a lot of love from people.
Absolutely. I want to share this too. I remember when I first moved to New York, and I appreciate this too. We talked, and you was like, just be really careful, be very mindful about who you're around, what you're doing, and remember what you came to first. So I want to thank you for that. Like, publicly, that meant a lot, because I have.
But that was wrong.
Why?
That was like wrong. No. Why? It's because that was my fear on you. I was putting my fear onto you.
That's for you. That's for you. But for me, I received it just as what I received it as, right? Because a lot of times we get it and we have to take it how we want to take it. And I took it and I kept it with me, and it is protecting me, honestly, being very mindful, very intentional.
Yeah.
So let's go into the thing, because when you went to Atlanta, obviously we can't skip over this. You were overall Mother West.
Shout out.
Literally.
Yes.
What made you want to be the overall Mother of West?